Well, it's been almost exactly 2 years, and finally, the pandemic is dissipating. We made our choices, we learned our lessons, and it's a new dawn. And it's a new season for the year 2022, and a new time for all of us to embrace new life, new opportunities, new abundance. And while we balance our care and genuine prayer for peace in the awareness of a world that still includes unthinkable tragedy and sorrow and even war, we also are grateful for how blessed we are. And so let us use this spring of 2022 to take everything that we've learned, clear the past, and move forward in gratitude for the freedom that we have, for the blessings of our lives, for the opportunity to come together again in community, online, and yes, in person. We are all part of the awakening world, and we all have the roles that we're playing as individuals and collectively. We are the imaginal cells finding each other to create a beautiful, incredible butterfly out of the old paradigm. So welcome to spring of 2022. Welcome to the awakening world.
We come from the same source, a powerful love force. We're coming together, stronger than ever, not divided. We come from the same source, a powerful love force. We're coming together, hear the call, you are invited. We come from the same source, a powerful love force.
Welcome, everybody. I am Love Coach Scott Catamas, and it is Earth Day weekend. And I want to welcome all of our friends coming into our Zoom room. This is always one of my favorite parts of the weekend. It's our early Zoom room show, where kind of our regular fans and friends and real family. I mean, this is a beautiful global peace tribe community that is forming. And anybody who's hearing my voice right now, you're an important part of that community. If you haven't already told us where you're from geographically, please do so. John got in there first, as always, Norfolk, Virginia. But I see Lynn and Leaf and Jeff and Bonnie and so many of our friends, Scotty and Parjanaya, Janet, Marlene, Karen, and on and on. So it's really good to see all of you from all over North America. And once we go live on Unify at 6 o'clock, that's when we get everybody from all over the world. It's very exciting. So it's Earth Day weekend, and as you know, I'm collaborating with different organizations and different people. And for this show, I've been happy to be collaborating with Robin Streckler. And so I'm going to put the focus on Robin for a moment. She's done a wonderful job of bringing together some really wonderful people that we already met last night. And then, of course, we're going to continue to meet today and tomorrow. Robin has worked very closely with many visionary leaders. Catherine Wood Thomas, who's on the show tonight, Andrew Harvey. But I think really probably most impressive is her work with Barbara Marx Hubbard. And Barbara is certainly a godmother of all of the work that the awakening world is all about. So Robin has a background in film and television, and tonight you're going to see during the after show, and definitely you want to stay for the after show because it's going to be awesome, a reading with professional actors reading a portion of her environmental screenplay. So Robin, thank you. You've done a great job, and welcome to the awakening world.
Thank you. It's been a great pleasure to be here, and welcome everybody that's coming in. And I'm so excited about this show tonight and tomorrow morning at 10.
Yeah. Thank you. And, we're going to spend most of the early Zoom room show with Sylvia. And you found Sylvia. Tell us Why a little bit from your perspective about Sylvie?
Yeah, she's actually from Brazil, and I met her in Los Angeles, and she's a documentary maker. And you probably know a little more because you recently worked with her on her interview. So I'll pass it back to you. But I just know her personally, and she loves the earth so much that she made a beautiful documentary called Love Thy Nature. And right now she's in Esalen giving an Earth Day weekend connecting to nature workshop. Nice, that's a nice place to be right now. And and uh, I'll pass it to you because actually I think you
Okay.
had more extensive conversation with her recently.
You got it. So yeah, I did a pre-record with her, and I was so impressed with who she is as a human being. As you're about to see, she's a delight. And she's also made this wonderful movie called Love Thy Nature. And I'm so impressed with Love Thy Nature that on Sunday, May 22nd, we're going to have a special Global Peace Tribe screening where we're all going to watch the movie together and then have a conversation with Sylvie and some of the other environmental friends. Maybe some of the people that are on the panel tonight will join us for that. So put that in your calendar. Sunday, May 22nd at 2:22 p.m. is when we'll start the movie, but we'll gather at 2 o'clock. So on May 22 at 2:22, we'll be seeing Love Thy Neighbor. And here she is. She's an amazing soul. And I introduce you now to Sylvie. Sylvia. Welcome, Sylvie. And thank you so much for being with us. And I'd
Thank
love
you
for
so
you
much.
to share what we were just talking about the value of grieving.
So I'm really, first of all, thank you so much for having me on this amazing show. I am delighted and honored to be here with you and this wonderful tribe. So I'm going to say with you and you and you, because even though I can't see you, I can sense you out there. And yeah, this topic that Scott, you and I were just alluding to, I'm very passionate about it because, you know, it's something that I think we all go through. We're experiencing so much, there's so much emotional energy happening right now because we're witnessing the destruction of, you know, I'm going to start with the destruction of nature because here we are, we're honoring Earth Week. Earth Day is just a few days away. And those of us who feel the connection with the world, feel the connection with the natural world, and I would include all of you who are here present, it's almost impossible not to feel the pain in our hearts of realizing enormous trees are being brought down because some company has the right to use them for toilet paper even. And RDC has this thing about witnessing or showing what companies are doing what. Or maybe the oceans are getting filled with plastic and we're seeing an enormous amount of destruction in so many ways, from forests to the desert, including the human community with hurricanes every year and the fires in so many different places, from Western United States and Canada to all the way to Australia and throughout the world. So without going into all these details, it hurts us. And why? It's because we are nature. We might not even sometimes, like the blood that runs in our veins, depend on the pure water that comes from the rivers and the waterfalls. We have eyes because we evolved from all these different beings who are our ancestors, really, all the way to the fish, right? We inherited our eyes from the fish. It's like, so whatever way that we look at it, from the genetics all the way to our daily lives of nutrition, hydration, and our emotional connection when we see a being in front of us, we're completely connected. And so there's no way not to feel the pain of the destruction. So what I was sharing with you, Scott, is that I'm about to offer this workshop that has to do with feeling the depth of our grief and allowing it to be present, right? So there's a lot of really mindfulness and heartfulness in this practice of saying yes to everything that we are and everything that we experience. And saying yes from the standpoint of accepting it, honoring it, instead of trying to push it out or, ignore it or deny it, really allowing ourselves to feel it. And, there's a Buddhist saying that says there's no way around, only through, right? And once we're able to do this path through, and often I offer the RAIN meditation, the RAIN acronym standing for recognize an emotion, allow it to be there, investigate where do you feel it in your body, and then nurture as what being can we bring or can you bring to you that will give you that sense of nurturing and loving and tending to the pain. It can be a spiritual figure, it can be a loving, adoring baby goat or any kind of animal that resonates with you, a puppy or a cat. It can be your future self who is coming to embrace you. And by doing these processes, and I'm only sharing one of them, we can cross through that pain and then come to a place of full awareness. Really, that place of complete, again, mindfulness and heartfulness. And through having that open, vast experience of being completely aware, right? That's where the transformation comes and the passion ignites to then decide what is the loving action that I can take right now.
That's a beautiful process and practice. During tonight's show, we're focusing on practices, things people can do. And so, are there any other practices that come to mind you'd like to share with our audience of ways to confront the climate crisis, ways to make a difference, whether it's in our own internal thinking and processing, like you just shared, or practical things in the external world? What are some of the other things that come to mind for you?
Sure. So it's interesting because it's kind of like the internal and the external are so much like one of the same. One of the practices that I'll also offer is nature therapy. We also call it forest bathing. And it's the loose translation of Shinrin Yoku, which came from Japan. It's been done for millions of years. And of course, indigenous tribes and different indigenous peoples all around the world have been practicing one form or another of nature therapy, connecting with the world. The irony of it, right, Scott? It's kind of like it's one of those things where the healing and the being able to help comes from loving. And so the experience of coming out of doors, right? Coming outdoors into the world, touching a tree, listening to birds in the morning, really deepening connection with all of the senses, which is what nature therapy is about. Quieting the mind, opening the senses, and arriving fully with the beings that you're experiencing, whether that being is staring or connecting with a snail, or maybe sitting in the presence of a mountain and becoming one with the mountain. Whatever experience it might be, to really commune and allowing the healing to happen. And again, what happens is that ideas surface, right? So in the world of ideas, what can we do in the external world? There's a universe of possibilities, right? There's a quote from Thurman is his last name. His first name is escaping me. But
Howard Thurman. Howard Thurman.
Thank you very much. Howard Thurman. And he says something like, don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive, because what the world needs is for more people to come alive. And in that aliveness, excuse me, it really has to do with like, what are you passionate about? If you're a great teacher, maybe a huge action is to be sitting with children or with teenagers or young adults even, and sharing what you know about how to help transform the world, how to create petitions, how to send notes to organizations, or how to make a group within the university or within the school so that kids can connect with each other and create something that would change their neighborhood, right? Or if you're somebody who might be a good speaker, doing talks and creating like social media videos and sharing it with your community. If you're somebody, and this is a big one, if you're somebody who has the gift of connecting with people heart to heart, which I know so many of you do, how about discovering new ways to find people who think very differently from us? I mean, very differently from us, connect with their pain and find out what is the way to connect with their heart, listening deeply to what they're concerned about and finding ways to help heal them so that they're able not only to heal themselves, but to also listen to some of the wisdom that you might have to share with them from a place of unity instead of a place of division. I really think that the power of our species ultimately in this time of division is showing us that there's a new era that we can create in terms of unity, and it will be through the heart processes instead of through making other people wrong, right? Mm-hmm. And so there are so many other things. I was just sharing with you before, Scott, that one of the things I love to do is when I open any kind of package, or if I see that there's a particular product or service that's being unconscious of nature's needs, one of the things I love to do is to take 10 minutes of my time and send a quick email to say, hey, I love your product and your service, but hey, don't you think you're using a little too many packagings for something that has like a third of the volume of its content? It's like, so I mean, there's so many different opportunities that any person can find. A big one is buying a car, right? Not everybody necessarily needs a car. In LA, it's almost impossible not to, even though right now I'm going electric bike. That's been my main mode of transportation for a couple of years. We'll see how long it lasts. But for those of us who need a car, if we're buying a car, right? There was an article that came out in the LA Times that says that a lot of companies that create cars with leather, first of all, if you're a vegan, you probably wouldn't want to buy a car that's with leather. But if you still consider buying a car with leather and you would like your leather to be sustainable, or a lot of the companies, there are car manufacturing companies in California are actually acquiring their leather from ranchers who are illegally cutting the trees of the Amazon forest. A lot of indigenous people in the Amazon are being killed. Brazil has one of the highest rates of homicides of indigenous peoples because of the ranchers in the Amazon. And that process of the leather is being shipped to California so that our cars are, and so we would have to look at that article. So I don't want to name any particular organizations, but it's easily available if any of one of you want to Google. But one of the things I did, because I was considering getting a Nissan Leaf, and I sent an email to Nissan and said, look, this is what I'm considering. If I want to get your car with leather, where do you source your leather from? And I told them about the article, and they replied to say, honestly, I can't answer this question. So, which indicates to me something. But so anyway, there's a lot, and we only have a limited time for our conversation. But what I would say is my invitation to you is to be as aware as you can about the wonders and the realities of nature. And the realities do include how are you consuming, right? What choices can you make any given day, whether it's at the grocery store or whether it's in the conversation with someone who disagrees with you? How do you want to hold yourself in terms of finding ways to be empowered with the amazing healing capability that's available through all the different processes that are available? And I just shared two of them with you. And I know that through the global tribe and the peace tribe, you're already absorbing a tremendous amount of healing that's already available. And from this healing, from these processes, what are the loving actions, the actions that you can take that will not be overly intense or challenging, but rather the actions that come from a place that is natural to you? Based on your talents, based on your gifts, based on your passions. There's so much that can be done that we can't scratch the surface. But I hope that what I shared here might be a little bit of might offer you like a seed of possibility that can grow into a towering tree.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. And I am going to come back on for a minute in our last 5 minutes because I want to kind of chat with everybody for a moment about what we just were seeing. And I, again, do also want to let people know about her website. So I want to encourage everybody, first of all, to go to her website. It's lovethinature.com. Lovethinature.com. And she does nature therapy workshops. And there's actually two things that are interesting. Of course, this is a documentary movie she's made, and it's a really well-made, first-class movie. Liam Neeson narrates it. And so to go see the trailer or to actually watch the movie, just go to where it says film. And you can watch the movie online. You can host a party. Or you can go to any of these places where it streams. It streams on Apple TV, Amazon Prime, iTunes. She's got it almost everywhere. And as I mentioned before, but in case you didn't write it down, on Sunday, May 22nd, we, the Global Peace Tribe, are going to host a screening of it online. So join us on Sunday, May 22nd at 2 p.m., and we'll watch the movie together, and then we'll talk about it. Just like we're going to talk about Robin's play. We're going to see a section of Robin's play tonight during the after show, and then talk about it. So Global Peace Tribe is moving into more and more activities like that, and do come and participate because then I know that you guys want us to do these things. So let us know. I also wanted to just kind of touch in. Oh, and one other thing that is kind of cool that she's doing. I'm going to go back to her website for a moment. She leads expeditions, and I got to tell you, one of her journeys really is appealing to me personally. This isn't just Scott, pitching somebody. She's going to lead a group to Belize in October. And I've never been to Belize. Again, there's Sylvie, who we were just talking about. But she's going to have a trip to Belize. And let me see where that is. Costa Rica. Here we go, Belize. Maybe mark it in your calendars. I know it's a little bit pricey, perhaps. But it would be really cool to go to Belize with her and really experience the nature. And for whatever reason, I kind of got a chill when she was saying it. I got the vibe that I get when I'm getting the hit that this is something to pay attention to and that I might want to participate in. So anyway, you can learn all about what she's going to be doing at Love Thy Nature, her website, lovethinature.com. And we've got like 2 or 3 minutes before I've got to take us live on Facebook. And so I'm going to take a quick look at some of the comments that have come in. I, of course, noticed that Scotty Satori, one of our regulars, I know is in Maui because I connected him with my good friend Kutira, who has a beautiful property in Maui. And so I'm a little envious in this moment that you're there, but also really grateful. And again, nature bathing, you can do it in your backyard, and it doesn't have to be with being nude, but the idea is just immersing yourself in nature, really bringing yourself into the experience of nature. You might have missed it, but she said it could be just watching a snail or watching a bird or looking at the sky. I noticed that Janet talked about every day she lies down and just looks up at the sky for 30 minutes. So now you can do it in the nude if you want. By the way, I wasn't saying you can't do that, but it isn't reliant on that. And yeah, Janet said, I lay flat on my back in the yard for about 30 minutes daily, looking up, watching for birds, sending love to the planets, the continents, the oceans, the waters, asking Gaia to help cycle the energy on the planet. That's beautiful, Janet. Thank you. So I'm going to bring you back on, Robin. Anything that stood out for you and what we just saw with Sylvie?
No, I just think she's an amazing woman, and I'm glad that she's doing all that she's doing and leading these expeditions. And I love the rain process. I do the rain process myself. And I think the key word to the rain process and helping us handle all the things that are happening in our world today is the word allow. So we have recognize. The second word is allow, and you can't skip over that. Because once you allow things to be, and I think there's some Kahel Gibran, or no, it's the not Hafiz, the other famous Sufi,
Rumi?
Rumi,
Rumi?
yeah, where it's welcoming the guest house, I think it's called,
Yeah,
welcoming,
yes, yes, yes.
welcoming. So it's very similar. It's these things are happening, but there is a saying, and it's very simple. What we resist persists, and the pain is in the resistance. So I don't know if people know those two terms, but that's what the allowing it counters. And you'll find that just sitting, I sit and I just allow for 5 minutes, and it's transformational. Just like everything's the way it is, and I'm allowing it to be that way. So I think that she does the rain process as well as a way of us dealing with everything good, bad, and otherwise that's happening with our world.